Hey everybody, my name is Old School Nerd, and this video is probably going to get me in a lot of trouble with a lot of fans of a lot of different people from around the world. But unfortunately, this isn't your reaction, it's mine. This is my reaction to Flora Jansen. The name of the song is called Storm. You see those three ladies right there, their names down in the corner? Maybe she needs to be on the list. I'll explain right after this. Billie Holiday, Etta James, and Aretha Franklin. I've heard so many songs from those three ladies, and the bulk of their great works were really before my time. But luckily for me, my parents and grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins made sure that I listened to some of the greats. And in my time, I caught a few greats myself, both in record and live. And I grew up in the Diana Ross, Barbra Streisand, Whitney Houston era. Incredible voices. Voices of generations. Now, this is not to discount or to lower people like Erykah Badu or Shaka Khan or even Madonna for what she was and what she is. But when I'm talking about power vocalists that can literally change the mood of your life with just their voice and nothing else. The first three were the ones that I grew up listening to. The second three were the ones that were really huge when I was a kid. Then came along the next three: Ann Wilson, Kelly Clarkson, and Adele. Now, those three next women are very unique. All of them very powerful singers. One of them, power alto. The second one, power alto. The third one, power alto. You see a pattern forming? Now, these are all names of listed performers that if anybody from the United States, a fan of any genre of music, from country to classical, contemporary, rap, soul, R&B, and even rock and roll, you know those names. All of those names make sense to you. Here's the problem. I've done an entire reaction channel for the last 2 years. None of those 9 ladies have been on a single video I've done. And I can honestly say that some of the best vocal performances that I've ever heard in my life, for various reasons, have come in the last 2 years. Now, again, remember, I just told you, the first three held the generations before I was even born. The second three tuned me as a young child. Okay, when you say Whitney Houston, Diana Ross, and Barbra Streisand, in my home and in my perspective as a young person, a child, and even into my young teenage years, you said any one of those three names, and the first thing that came into your head was amazing singer. Quality, professional, amazing singer. And that includes Celine Dion, okay? And even Mariah Carey. Vocal prowess that extends beyond what you would think. But I love power altos. So when I look at Adele and Kelly Clarkson and Ann Wilson, I see women who in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and then now are still making amazing music that blows people away. Again, none of these names are on a single reaction of any video I've done in the last 2 years. But you know who I have done a reaction to? Miss Flora Jansen. I've done a few reactions to her, and she reminds me of an Ann Wilson meets God. She has the sultry tone control of an Etta James. She's got the power and the attitude of an Aretha Franklin when she wants it. But she'll sit in that Barbra Streisand, slash Kelly Clarkson, slash Whitney Houston, slash Ann Wilson pocket, and she can go anywhere. Everyone knows her from Nightwish, but During COVID, with all the lockdowns going on and Marco retiring, Flora was at home in her own little home studio, and her and her husband and some friends of hers were mixing covers. And I reacted to one of those covers, a few of them. Her cover of Alone by Heart really captivated me because it was just her voice, and that's it. Then I started to recognize that she's really probably my favorite pure vocalist on the planet. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a spot for Melissa Bonney. There's a spot for Laura Luhimo. There's a spot for all of my apple grabbers in Italy. There's definitely a huge spot for Violet Orlandi, Addie from Halocene, and especially Lauren Babick. Lauren Babick reminds me of the perfect amalgamation of every artist she wants to be, and they can still go someplace else. And let's not even get started with the epic women of metal. You know who I'm talking about. The Tatianas of the world. I could sit here for the next 20 minutes and list every amazing woman, singer, female, explosive vocalist that has been on this channel. But this is Flora's time. This is her second release video from her new label, her new project. Hopefully, all of you will get to see this. And I'm going to do my best to pay attention, focus on the performance. I've read the lyrics of this song already. Just the lyrics were like, oh, this one's going to make me cry. And it might. This one's for all of you. So many of you have asked me to do this one, and I was trepidatious because when she released Fire, I did a reaction, and it took almost a month to get that video on the channel. Hopefully this doesn't take as long. This is Flora Jansen. The name of the song is Storm, and I read the description below. Please go to the original video. Please check out her channel. Subscribe to her channel. She's putting out great stuff. Nightwish is back on tour. They're doing what they do, which is always amazing, but check out her own channel. Some of her stuff is amazing. And also the story of how they made this video, the people that showed up to help, the Nightwish and the Flora Jansen fans showed up to help, like 70 plus, to help on this shoot, just to help. That in and of itself tells you this is the kind of person she is. My name is Old School Nerd. My information's in the description too, but it ain't about me this time. Let's check this one out. This is Storm, Flora Jansen. I'm going to move my beard out of the way. Y'all didn't come here to see my beard. Well, you might. If you did, that's all on you. Let's get into this.
I won't give up just yet. Gotta lose sometimes to gain. To the whole wide world I'll say, gonna make it to the end. I won't think once or twice, gonna bounce back one more time, for the whole wide world to know it's me who brings the storm. So when you think you've won the fight, I'm gonna strike your heart with lightning. You'll be blinded by the light, blinded by the light. You're gonna hear my voice roar like thunder. I'm gonna be the storm you're under. You'll be blinded by the light, blinded by the light. You're gonna hear my voice roar like thunder.
That power crescendo at the end of the line on the chorus. It's a style of vocal control that you really only see in the really power names. It's something that you see Celine Dion has done so many times when she herself was singing about a boat. But you know what I'm saying? You don't see a lot of vocalists that use that control technique where at the end of a note, they will literally open their embouchure and let something echo out. I'm going to give you an example of what it compares to me. You know how the first time you saw Ginger play a video and Tatiana was singing in her standard melodic tone, and then right in the middle she kicks down and drops just so much power and goes low, and you're like, how did she do that? And then if you watch videos, she explains that it's an adjustment in the jaw and the embouchure, the vocal, the pipe, the vibrations of her throat, the whole 9 yards. It is something that she shifts into to get that tone. Now, I want you to think about that and realize that a vocalist like Flori Jansen, like a Celine Dion, Kelly Clarkson, and a Barbra Streisand have been known to do this, but do it within the alto range, thereby not only having, they can be soft and intimate and touching. The words of this song, the way she's enunciating it, pulls your emotions like strings, and they're almost to the point where it's almost, you can almost physically feel it. Then she adjusts her embouchure, her breath, and it's an explosion of sound. It felt like it's some sort of decimal change. Like if they don't have a threshold or a gate on her mic, it's gonna spike the feed in the game. The reason why I think of that is I've seen a few videos where Flori Jansen is singing a cappella without a mic. She's just in a room and someone's filming it. She's like 10 feet away and she's just singing, and it's the most lovely bird voice you can ever imagine. And she lifts her head and you just see her shoulders square out, and all of a sudden you're like, she's 6 feet away and it sounds like she's right there. The true greats can do that. It's incredible. I hope to one day get to see it live, because I've seen Ann Wilson do it live about 4 years ago, and I was about 10 feet away, and she sang alone. And when she hit that belt note, that cry out note coming in from the drop in to alone, Flori Jansen did it too on her cover in her studio. I've seen Ann Wilson do it from 10 feet away. I hope to one day be able to be within hearing distance, hear Flori Jansen project that, because it's obvious. Yeah. Remember that list? It needs to continue. She's obviously needs to be on it. My humble opinion. Let's just enjoy the rest of this together, okay? If I start crying, just ignore me, all right? Thanks.
I won't give in this time, 'cause fear's just not a chance. To my inner self I pray, be the eye of the hurricane. When you think you've won the fight, I'm gonna strike your heart with lightning. You'll be blinded by the light, blinded by the light. You're gonna hear my voice roar like thunder.
All right. Um, if you're not subscribed to this woman, you're an idiot. I've been subscribed now for over a year when she started her channel. Okay, I want to give an idea in my brain of what to try to equate what I'm hearing and what it feels like when I hear her sing. A good analogy that I think a lot of my friends in metal music will agree with. Okay, you remember when Falling in Reverse came out with the last 2 years of their videos, where every video was another, you have no idea what the hell Ronnie Radke's going to do next. And even though you've seen Ronnie Radke sing songs and do raps and do screams and everything else, you just the videos and the context of the song, you never know what you're going to get. And even though you've seen him a dozen times, when he come out with something new, it would shock the crap out of you, even though you knew who he was. That's what it's like listening to Floor Jansen, but listening to her voice. We have listened to numerous Nightwish songs. We've listened to her solo stuff. I've listened to her on videos. I've listened to Nightwish performances live. And then I think I know everything there is to know about Floor Jansen. And then you listen to this song and you're like, who is this woman? And she looks just like Floor Jansen. Because you just can't believe it's the same person every single time. Because every time she raises her own bar. What gets me is the level of power and reach she has, and she never leaves her chest voice. She rarely goes falsetto. She never weakens. She can do it just full melodic tone and have such control. Probably one of the best vocalists alive, especially in metal music and rock music. You know, if I was to look at all these different vocalists by age, you know, Ann Wilson is still alive. Ann Wilson still has she's got the chops, even in her senior years. Floor is in her early 40s. She's now in the 48. She's close to my age, and her voice is not laxing. The control is still there. The tone, the crispness, and any fluctuations or aging in her vocal cords, she's using it to add texture, which makes it even better. God. All right, my name is Old School Nerd. Yeah, I react to videos. That's Floor Jansen. She's the woman who captivates all of us every time she opens her dang mouth and lets music come out. Also, did you notice that this song, the music was extremely simple? The drum count, straight 4 on the floor. Bass line was just on the downbeats. A lot of it was ethereal keys and just a little guitar, but nothing too dynamic. Why? Because it was just a platform to allow her to paint a picture that makes you go, wow. If the song like this doesn't make you emotional, makes you want to cry for some reason, it'll at least leave you stunned, wondering, what was that? And then you find yourself watching it again. All right, everybody. That's it for me. Love you guys. Thank you guys for coming in. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Please, appreciate you. If you do subscribe, you have to click the notification bell, because I have no idea why people aren't getting their notifications, but I don't work for YouTube. I'm just on it. It's weird. All right. Love you guys. Have a great day.